Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. So I'm excited to come back. The Chris Watts case or Watts Island that I landed coming onto YouTube into true crime. And there have been some updates. And I cannot think of a better person to have on. Well, we have a couple people on than the who's coming. So let me just go ahead and bring one of them right up. Hello, Amber.
Hey, hi, chat. Hello, Allie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Oh my
I'm
gosh, you guys.
excited.
I am too. You guys don't know she has been doing YouTube for a long time. She's taken a baby break and she's about to come back. And this is kind of her making her way back. So please go check out her channel because she has covered this case. No one, like nobody else, Amber. You really have, like, even the Venmo thing that you had sent me that we'll look at tonight. It's like, wow, thank God you got all of this stuff when you did. It's really cool. I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah, we've just gone through this case frontwards and backwards, and people ask about it all the time. It's constantly, even though I haven't been like posting videos much. I've done like 2 or 3 uploads since I've been out with the baby.
Yeah.
People are asking me like all the time, when are you going to come back and do more Watts deep dives? And it's like, gosh, people are not tired of talking about this case at all. And I understand why, because there's just so much unfinished business with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy though, isn't it? That after all this time has went by. I mean, it's almost 7 years, right? Are we almost at the 7-year mark this summer?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's crazy.
But
2018.
yeah, so 7 years. When I said that out loud, I questioned myself, but yeah.
I know it's crazy because it's almost a decade, but the way that everyone dives into this, you would think that it was like an ongoing case.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. I don't know. I'm happy you guys are interested because I'm still interested in it. I know, Amber, you're probably excited to keep deep diving. Like, I almost want to start all over with the discovery. Now that I know more about true crime, I feel like I would just see things a little differently and be able to, I don't know. I just like to do it again.
Every time we go through this case, there's something new that pops out. So I'd go through it again if you're interested in it.
Yeah, there really is. So Mo brings up a great point. I want you guys to know about this as well. Amber has several documentaries on her channel, but her Watts documentary is probably one of the best that is out there. I truly believe that. I think you guys would really enjoy it. You should go listen if you haven't, or watch and listen if you haven't seen them yet.
Thank you. Yeah, it's almost at 2 million views on it. And I have one in the works on Watts as well. It's just going to be, there's so much information on this case that,
Wow.
you can make numerous documentaries just covering like interesting facts. And, Shanann was just a very interesting person because everything was so public. You just saw so much of the victims' social media that you really felt like you knew her.
Yeah.
It's just a crazy case.
I think that's definitely part of it because you see so much of their everyday life, their interactions, how they talk to each other, her and Chris, how they treat each other, like just so
Yes.
much. And it's a good example of what you see on social media is just not always the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one of the number one like comments on one of the documentaries, basically saying like not everything you see on social media is what you think it is. And then it also is like a cautionary tale. She did work in MLM, which requires public posts and kind of putting yourself out there to sell your product. But it sort of shows like you have to guard yourself in a way, like with kids and all that, like people will cyber stalk you.
Yes, it really does. Wow, 2 million views on that documentary. That's freaking awesome. That's crazy to think about. Okay, so there has been some big news lately, like some updates. The first one, before we talk about Miss Kessinger, just quickly, I had seen a couple videos and different posts and things that Chris was transferred to a prison in Illinois. I believe they were saying it was. And I think it all stemmed from I watched the channel, What's the Obsession? And they had a video that is now taken down. But on that video, it showed, she said, this is how I've came to this conclusion. She shows Cheryl and Cadel put out a post that he had been moved. And then she said, and someone else I trust double checked it. So I believed it. Well, I believed her, so I really believed he was moved. And come to find out, that was just, it's not true. He's still in Dodge Correctional.
That's what my inside sources are saying as well. And I can state this because she no longer works there, but if anyone's kind of been following my channel too, I've kind of referenced this source here and there, but I never like disclosed, what they were or this or that. But I knew somebody who worked at that prison with Chris. She's, seen him on a daily basis. She no longer works there anymore. So I don't think it's, bad for me to say. I'm not going to put her name out there or anything, but she was giving me inside information, and basically I messaged her when all that was going around with Cheryl and Cadel. Of course, I was kind of cautious because of who was posting it. Yeah. At the same time, I knew that he was trying to get transferred. So I was kind of like, But she messaged people who she used to work with who still work at that prison and basically said, like, no, he has not transferred. And for what it's worth, Ronnie, Chris's father, has come out publicly stating that he has not transferred.
Wow. So, yeah, all this fuss, I should have known, like, as soon as I heard that it came her Facebook group originally, but second source that verified it. And when she did, she shows on the screen like this log that makes it look like he was a new inmate in this prison. Now, maybe there was somebody else with that name. I don't really know, because I don't know if someone would fake that log or it maybe there. I don't know. But
I know. It's hard because when you look him up in the prison system of, Dodge, it doesn't come up, but it hasn't for years.
Yeah.
Because they like protect his location and stuff.
At Tisha's is like that too, by the way. You can't find her. Now, you can through like the Getting Out texting app. That's how we found out where she was. Someone had posted on Facebook or somewhere, hey, oh my God, I found Letitia in this app at this prison. And then like I downloaded it, double checked it, all that, which I've used that app now a lot for other purposes, other people. But that was where she was at. But she doesn't show up on their like regular searches. So, okay. Now I want to play. Okay. Now we're going to get into Nichol Kessinger. I've grabbed a few old clips. I think we'll look at those second. We'll talk about this recent sighting. Amber, I'm telling you, I know we've talked about, I know, because I remember saying to you, or you saying to me, or something like, how has no one seen her? How can she make it this long without anyone like seeing her speaking out?
It's been bizarre, hasn't it? 7 years of this.
Yeah. And no old friends coming out, or whatever.
Yeah, I know. It really has been really mind-boggling. With people speculating witness protection, which was debunked. She changed, let's see, the last things that we heard about her were what? When the Netflix documentary came out, I believe the same month that Netflix documentary came out, she changed her name in Colorado court. Scott Rice, if you guys know his channel, he's a lawyer in Colorado. He apparently broke that news, I believe, at the time, which was years ago, and said that he tried to like get in on like the hearings or something where he was trying to get in because he's a lawyer and stuff in Colorado. And even he had like no access to it. So it was very like protected. Her name, we just don't know. There's been speculations that it's Nicole Miller. Nothing has been confirmed what her changed name to be. But it's just been so weird. And then I don't even know. I think like we looked up something like in one of those people type searches, and it had her working in Colorado still with her father. And then that was the last that we ever really had any type of knowledge, I guess you could say, of, anything about her since the case.
Yeah, until now. Which,
exactly.
Oh my God, I still can't believe that this is real. So Jordan says, I think she's in hiding for real. Okay. Hey, Diana. So first, I just want to say, she was spotted at this funeral service, and we're going to talk about who it is and the connection to her and that kind of thing. But first, I know some people were saying, like, this is wrong. You shouldn't, like, hunt someone down this way at this private family event or whatever. And I just want to say, I just highly disagree. If you have your service streamed on the internet, you want people to see it. You know what I mean? That's a public streaming to the internet. It's still up. You know what I mean? So I think that's that. I mean, it is what it is. I disagree with that, and that's just where I stand. It's not, this is a public stream. So,
you know what really kind of, that's the thing, is like, we're not watching her funeral service per se. We were just skimming it to see if there was any more shots, you know what I mean, of NK. Like, right. So yes, it is a woman's funeral service, but her service and herself was not put on blast, in my opinion.
Right.
And those photos from the supermarket, I think, were not her at all, personally.
Yeah, like, at the time I wondered, could it be? Wasn't that in Colorado too?
We never got verification. It was told to us that it was, but I mean, right. Unless you show me like the location and that, how you can look at the information on your photos in your phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
None of that was ever shared. The timestamp, the date was taken, the location it was taken. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe, especially, listen, there's just people in this case that lied, that flat out lied to us, I mean, you've dealt with people in this case who have lied to your face too.
Absolutely.
And went on your panels and stuff and spouted their lies and put our reputations almost at risk in a way. Because it's our platforms that they were lying on.
I will never forget that, Amber, when she came on here and said she had been arrested. Oh my God almighty, I'll never forget that.
That was crazy. That was like a whole windstorm too when that took place. Everyone was like, what? Like nobody knew what to think. And first person that put this image out there had his watermark all over it. Now, I know Plunder was like, oh, we're going to give credit to so-and-so. I'm not going to say so-and-so's name due to the fact that Shanann's family despises him and he wore Chris's football jersey to the gravesite. So I have no problem giving credit where credit's due. If you want to give that guy credit, feel free. It's your channel. But there were people that were like upset in my Facebook group that I shared images like this that didn't have the watermark. It's like, he doesn't own this woman's funeral service, for one.
No.
For two, you wear the jersey out that Chris wore to the gravesite. Like, I'm not giving you credit.
No, and I'm not giving anybody credit but you, because I got this from you and it's a direct link to the service. And how do we know that the person who messaged you and said, look, this at the service or whatever, look here, didn't message them too? You know what I mean? So no, I got it from you, and that's just that. I feel like this is as original of a source as you can get to. We directly to the link of there's no watermark on the funeral homes, So anyways, you guys, I Watts Island, like, it was a crazy ass place. You run into all sorts of different individuals and it got wild, especially, you had people that believed one way versus another way. And it got very, I don't know, it was strange. But I think that we kind of see that a little bit with Idaho too. You got one side and another side, and there's starting to be like a clash between the two. I'm not even here for any of that. I don't care about any of it. I just want to talk about this sighting with my friends, with you guys, and that's it. But it was a crazy place. What do you mean? You have no idea what's going on? Nothing's going on, but a lot of people were sent the direct link to this. I didn't even know that person honestly had the pictures and stuff. So, I mean, that's not how oh my God, Mallory. Whew, that's not how I acquired it. So I won't be giving credit to just because someone else had it. I mean, lots of people have it at this point. So anyway, all right. So she was spotted at her friend's mother's funeral. Now, I'm going to wait for Amber, but I'm going to take you over here to this Venmo receipt that Amber actually sent me. like I said, thank God that she gathered and there you are, had so many receipts for all of this.
Yeah. This stuff is old too. I want to say Vanessa was first to kind of grab these Venmo screenshots years ago. Like I'm saying maybe early 2019. And you guys know that you can go to anyone's Venmo, and if it's public, then that's where you see these images, these transactions, I should say.
Right. Yes, Dog Defender, the co-burgers guilt, and then the pro burgers. Yes. And then Darlene, you're right. So this is her friend Danielle, and this was a Venmo between the two of them. Nichol pays Danielle August 12th of 2018. So right before. Wow. I didn't even pay attention to the date when you first sent these. So here's Danielle with Nicole's dog. And then we have Nichol and her dog. So this is a long time, a friend that goes way back. And you were mentioning her being mentioned in one of the interviews.
Okay, so yeah, apparently the dogs do look different. So I don't know if you got my message that it might be a different dog, but that is her friend Danielle. And we have linked Danielle to Leave Jim Alone. So when Leave Jim Alone had his Facebook like more public, we saw Danielle on his friends list. So they all know each other. And if anyone remembers, she talks about somebody named Daniel. First, she tries to like conceal the name of the friend that she had in town that she hosted that weekend. And that's the weekend and the day that they went to the Lazy Dog. And everyone's like, who's Daniel? Who's Daniel? Come to find out, it was Danielle. So the girl version and pronounced slightly different. Now, did we just all mishear her say Daniel, or did she purposely kind of try to protect her friend's identity? We don't know.
Ooh, I wonder if I think she probably tried to protect her identity, but also because she didn't want any of her friends mess with, apparently, at all, even talk to. But I did not get your message that it was a different dog. I have been like rushing around doing a bunch of stuff here at the house and just, I didn't see it, but now I see it that it is. But regardless, this is Danielle and this is Nichol.
Yes.
So it's her mom. So let's go back to this. Oh my gosh. I'm going to rewind just a little bit and let it play. Wait, let me turn down the. So I went to that timestamp where you're supposed to be able to hear her, and I couldn't hear it. Could you hear it?
I didn't really get a chance to scope it out like really well. I mean, we could do it. We can listen right now if you want.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Turn up the volume.
Okay. And so here she is. And she has put on a little weight. I think they were saying she might have had a baby. So that's whatever. I mean, as women, we put on weight, lose weight. I don't have nothing to say about that, but it's certainly her. Like there's no mistaking this might be her. That's her.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just look for 1 second. I'm going to take us over here for just a second and get that timestamp because I don't want to accidentally show it. So just hold on. Because I forwarded the messages to myself. Let's see here. So we're going to 5132, and it says, you can hear someone say, I don't know why I'm struggling so hard with this box. And it sounds like her, like people are recognizing that to be her voice. 5132. Wait, obviously I wouldn't have showed it on this one. What am I thinking? I'm crazy. I'm sorry, Amber. You're like, oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. I thought you were going to play like a comparison. Like, this is what her voice sounds like. Let's see if.
Well, I do have that. So I have two right here. Like, okay, let's do that. Here.
Because her voice is unmistakable. You know what I mean?
Should I do the one of her in this voicemail? I also had grabbed her video chat to him, but I guess it didn't load. From the sand, like the.
Oh, yeah.
Where she films that video. I've got that somewhere too. But okay, I wonder if this is the voicemail and she's kind of changing her voice to make it more, I don't know, whatever you would call it. So I wonder if that's a good comparison, or would her interview be better? What do you think, Amber?
Yeah, I feel like her interview, I don't know, because I haven't really, I think either one will work. She just
Okay.
has a very recognizable voice.
Let's watch this one. We'll watch a few different clips of her. I wanted us to watch anyways.
Okay.
So we'll hear this one first. Brace yourselves, because this is just. Ugh.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Ugh, I'm sorry. That it just turns my stomach. Like, he's married. And I find that so gross.
And like, why are you, I never understood this, because like, he's there with you. Why are you sending him a message or recording?
Yeah.
Like, just tell him.
Right. Is this like something for him to find later while he's home with his family, and then
Right. Like, forget me not type thing.
Yeah. Okay, so then now let's go back here, and it's 51:32. So I'm at 51:13. I'm just gonna let it play from here, but I am gonna mute so that there's no interference. And you guys let me know if you hear it. Amber, let me know what you think, okay?
Okay. Oh my word.
I heard it that time.
Yeah, I heard the way she said box. That was really all that kind of stood out. I mean, I don't have my earphones on, which I'm sure if you guys have headphones on, you might be able to hear even better, but I heard it. And now I don't know. I'd like to hear it again just to.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to unmute. I agree with Amber. I heard box, and I don't know when I muted back, but the volume's boosted. All right, let's listen again. I'm so sorry, you guys. Here we go.
I was like leaning in, like, why don't I hear it?
Sorry. Here. Okay. That's her.
Yep. The way she says, I don't know why. Like, it sounded just like one of her interviews. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
Oh my gosh.
And like, we know it's her. So this is just extra. There were people who were still kind of saying, it doesn't look like her. I don't think it's her. And then somebody commented, you can hear her voice because it's just so recognizable that, they kind of like backed it up. Like, no, it's her. Listen at this minute point.
Yes, it's definitely her. It's very, very quiet, you guys. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat. You guys can click on your phone with your earbuds, and that might be better. Don't you think that's just the best thing for me to do? And it's at this timestamp, or what do you think, Amber?
Yeah, just share, and people can just listen for I mean, it's undeniably her without having to hear the voice, but I think that kind of solidifies, like, you don't forget a girl's voice when it's like that.
Yep. I heard it for sure. Okay, share on Facebook, share on Twitter. We don't want to do either one of those. Wait. Nope, that was her. Okay, copy. You guys, somebody, if you do click in, let me know. Make sure that it works. Oh, Melissa. Okay.
Yay.
Hello. Which you're on camera. Do you know that?
Okay. Hi.
Hey.
But you couldn't see it because I kept up the comment.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm not used to being on my phone.
We sound good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Hi. So oh my gosh, Melissa, we were playing this timestamp at the end where you can hear her voice. She says something about a box. I don't know if you'll be able to hear on here. I'm going to play it one more time just to let you try, okay? It's at 51:30. Let's see.
She says, I don't know why I'm struggling so hard with this box or something along those lines. But you can just hear, like, it's her. It's her.
Yes. Agree. That was better. I had it turned down. Was that louder for you guys?
That was the best.
Okay. Did you hear it, Melissa?
Yeah, I heard it.
So, yeah, and she's at the very beginning of the clip. I dropped the link in the chat. Here we go. So, Melissa, we were talking like it's been years where we've said many times, like, why is this person like no one's seen her, no one's heard from her, no old friends have spoken out, no old boyfriends, like nothing. It's weird. And now finally she's been spotted.
Yeah, it's a big thing for anyone who's been following the case for this long, because there was like a huge, massive hunt for NK, and now it's finally like we know she was out there, but to actually have eyes on her for the first time, it's huge.
Yeah, it is. I wonder, do you think she's like, oh shit, now that she's been
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think she's happy about it at all. Every time I open up, anything true crime right now, everyone's talking about this. I just saw Annie Elise did something for her podcast talking about this right here.
Oh my gosh, crazy. And here's a picture that Amber made. I think you made it or you grabbed it anyways. That was a
anything that I've shared is coming from my Facebook group. So there's a bunch of web sleuths in that case or in that group that are obsessed with this case. So this actually was it's from my group, but other people have put it together.
Okay. But look, I mean, there's no denying it's her. And again, like I said, I think they said she had a baby. Honestly, to me, if I go back here, she doesn't look like she looks good. It's just her face looks a little more full. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. And what is more noticeably, I don't know, something that stuns me more is her lack of trying to change her look. You know what I mean?
Yes. That's a good point. Like,
yeah.
Like it was kind of like, okay, yeah, she gained weight because her and Chris, who has also gained weight and changed his looks, even in the prison interview, he looked completely different. And that was only a couple months later. But the weight, I mean, look, their hair, the same part. That was what we were talking about. It's like the colic of her hair and the length of it, the color of it. I mean, it's not like she's like tried to change, so that she isn't recognized. So, the other thing about this whole thing is this was shot in Montana, like I was telling you guys, and we don't know if she lives there in Montana now, and that's why, she's here. We know why she's there because it's her friend. But did she fly in? Or is she just local there?
Didn't she talk about like going to Montana before, like loving it there or something like that? Like there were pictures over there or something.
She was part of some oil company or something. Do you guys remember this Sunburst console? What was it called? Gosh, I have it like screenshotted probably somewhere. But anyways, that was in Montana. But that was like years ago, before the case even broke. So she has had ties to Montana, but I don't know if any of it besides this has been since after the case. I don't know.
Well, and also, oh, sorry, Amber.
No, you're fine. I'm talking to myself. Let me just look this up.
No.
Well, I saw a couple of comments saying, like, even if she's gained weight or aged, her nose or chin wouldn't change. Let me tell you something. I think it's very obvious that is NK, but if she has had a baby, let me tell you something. Being pregnant and having a baby does miraculous things to a woman's face. I don't know how the hell it has the ability to change the structure, but it does. Don't ask me how. Not always for the best. Usually not for the best either. And I'm not saying that in her case versus you'd be surprised. So if she had a baby, I'd be curious how long ago, because if it's anytime recent, a lot of times what you'll see is face changes with the hormones and with just giving birth.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it's Sunburst Consulting, and Leave Jim Alone is tied to that. And so I believe was Danielle, and that is in Montana. I think NK was tied to it as well, but of course her name isn't coming up because she's scrubbed everything of herself on the internet and changed her name. So I don't know. Again, we don't know if she lives there now or if she's just in for the funeral.
Who said she was married though?
Yeah, because do you remember before I had the baby, I want to say before the election time, around the time that Rourke had his podcast with his wife, does anyone remember that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Around that time, there was also an article that came out, which my channel covered it and Scott Rice covered it. And it was talking about NK dating a younger guy. Does anybody remember this? It was less than a year ago.
I don't remember it.
And then all of a sudden, the election takes place for Rourke and all that, and he's still in his okay, so Tess remembers it. I'm telling you, I cannot remember what live stream it is, but you can't find the article. It's like scrubbed now.
Look, Tony says, I remember it. There's a lot of stuff that used to be out that has been scrubbed. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Okay, Jen wants to hear it again. Let's play it again.
Well, like, why scrub something that's recent? Like, I get it, scrub stuff before the case, but this came out like last year. And then like it said that she was dating a younger guy. And then all of a sudden the whole article's gone. I don't know. It's so bizarre.
Well,
Everything
is it possible that it's true and maybe she like hired another like remember when it was rumored she hired someone to have all that scrub? Maybe she hired someone again after the article came out and she's like, oh shit, I don't need people to know anything about me. But then why would this still be up?
Yeah, and plus the way that the article made it seem, it was almost like she was letting them know. I don't know. I wish if I know what live stream it's in, which I'll probably never find, I will definitely, it's on my playlist if anyone wants to find it, but it's just, everything's just so weird. It might be easier to find on Scott Rice's channel.
Okay, well, no, I'm going to drop your link again. You guys, please go check out her documentary, her Watts. You have a playlist on your case coverage, you said? So that'd be awesome. There's so much information and stuff that she goes through. And then Melissa's too. And then Jen said, Bendy came in and said, did that cross fall at any time or something like that? Like off the wall behind of her? Which,
yeah. People were wondering why she didn't burst into flames.
Yeah. Walking through the church. Okay, so here's her voice one last time, and then we're going to play a couple other clips of her. Okay. Wait, it's volume all the way down. Let me rewind it again. That's exactly what she says. I don't know why I'm struggling so hard with this box. Wow.
That's her struggling.
Yeah. Okay, so here is her this is just like a 40-second video from Schmida. I'm going to drop the link to the video in the chat. These are, I think there's a couple. I listened to it just before we started. Back to back, maybe two. Oh God, they're the most cringiest, terrible voicemails ever. So prepare yourself for that. Okay, there's Schmida's link. Schmida's. Okay.
Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye. Hi. It's me.
Oh my God, you guys.
You guys just call me back when you have a chance. Bye. Hi. It's me. I miss your face. I was just calling to say hi. Call me back. Bye. Hi. It's me. You guys just call me back when you have a chance.
Oh my God. Her voice is like she's definitely changing it quite a bit there, but those are the most eerie. That giggle. Oh my God.
I don't understand it.
Hi. I can't even do it.
I know.
Oh my gosh. And why would a man like that just, what is attractive about that? I don't get it. Whatever.
I'll never forget those.
I know. They're so eerie. That, and remember
The doll in the closet when they did the walkthrough.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That literally sounded so similar to that. I don't know. It's crazy. It's been like so long because it feels like just yesterday watching all this stuff. Okay, and then here's her video again to him there. Let's watch this again real quick. It's only 10 seconds.
Look at Violet's comment.
Thank you for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Oh God, that kissy
Thank
face.
you.
Hold on. I have to try to pause it right on there.
Christopher.
Wow. So what do you guys suspect will be next? Like, is this like back into hiding? Would you ever see a day? Like, imagine her coming out like Casey Anthony.
Well, she did look up like Scott Peterson's mistress. You know, I think she had an idea in her head and it didn't go the way she thought it could go.
Yeah. How much money did she make off of her book? You know? No.
Like, why would that even be your mentality so early on? You know, I'm sorry. I just can't.
I don't know. It's very weird. It's like a lot of this stuff she said makes no sense. That's why it's so hard to let this one go, I think, because things just don't add up or make sense or feel like normal, you know, how people would act in this case, in a situation like this. Like, for instance, we talked, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you and I had just talked about, Melissa, her staying on the call for that, speaking to the detective. Like, what?
There's always going to be a lot of pieces to this that doesn't sit right with me. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that there's a full-on conspiracy necessarily. It depends on which way you want to look at it. But even if one thing is a lie, it'll shift all of the pieces. So none of the pieces are fitting, you know? But there's always going to be something, and I don't know how tiny it is. It could be very tiny, but something isn't sitting right, and it'll never sit right with me. I feel like there is more. And a lot of people I see say that, oh, well, she was fully investigated. No, actually, everything stopped the moment Chris took a plea deal. That's it. It stopped.
Yep. Even Tammy said she wished they could have went further, but they didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. And Shanann's family has commented, like, you know, we don't really like the conspiracy talk, which I understand. If you guys want to reference the discovery files, then you can talk about the case. They came out saying that years ago. So we go through the discovery files and you'll see nothing was finished. The federal fingerprint scan, you know, the vomit at Serby, we don't know whose vomit it was. No DNA analysis in this entire case. Like, we don't even know what was found in the fingernail clippings that were taken at the autopsies.
How crazy is that, Amber, right?
It's nuts. And, you know, it's just unfinished. That's the only word that I have for it. You know, they got their confession, they got their conviction, and then he signed the plea deal. And so many people have also commented, because Tammy herself has stated this, you know, the clock stopped when he signed the plea deal. So many people have pointed out, like, since when does that stop an investigation?
Right. No, Harlot, you know, and even here's the problem. They had to go back and the closest to the story we get is when they went back and did another interview with him. But even the things that he shared, doesn't make sense when you take the evidence and you apply it. You know, some pieces can make sense, but then there are other massive pieces that it's like, wait, that's not possible. Like, how would that have happened? And so it just leaves you wondering.
Yeah.
Well, also think about this, and I don't have the books because I gave them away in a giveaway after I read them. I'm looking now, though, for this email because Dylan, when I interviewed Chris's at one point best friend, they were writing that book together. Chris agreed to this book coming out and sent Dylan a letter in his own handwriting that talked about her like having more to do with it. It never flat out said in black and white in his handwriting one. Now, Dylan goes on to say he does flat out say to him in black and white, but that's just hearsay. But this letter, I mean, he thought this was going to come out in their little book about the Bible. And it just, that adds another element. Is Chris really in jail, like speaking out that, I don't know. I don't know.
And Dylan isn't even the only inmate to come out and state that. Remember David Carter?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he got to the point where he's on the phone with CBI Tammy. He recorded all this. I've included it in my documentary because it's just mind-boggling to me that it went down this way. She, says, oh, so Chris said that? He said that she was involved. Okay, well, would you be interested in doing a lie detector test? And he says, yeah, no problem. And she says, okay, well, we'll get that set up and we'll start from there. Let me give you a call back. He gave that voicemail or that phone conversation recording to AD. He put it on his channel. Soon as it goes on YouTube, Tammy called him back and said that he had no credibility and that he was interested.
Yes, I forgot about that, Amber. Oh my gosh, so much time has went by. It's. We're looking
crazy. Like how do you ask someone, okay, would you be willing to take a polygraph? And then just because, which I wish he never did, like share that audio with AD, because what would have happened if, she didn't cancel?
Yeah. Okay, I found one of them. Here's, and this is in Chris's handwriting. Actually, let me just screenshot it and pull it up on the screen. So hold on just a second. This way we're not, because yeah, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that recording of Dylan and Tammy. I mean, I don't know. It seems to me like, though, it's never gonna, unfortunately, I
have that recording.
Do you do?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, that's interesting. It's been forever since I heard it. What did she say exactly? I can't remember.
It's been forever since I heard it, but in a few minutes I could grab it and send it to you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be awesome. And then, okay, here is, oh yeah, I have this pulled up too. Look, remember when the neighbor was saying that there was a truck outside that wasn't usually there?
Anything different over the last, 2 days, 3 days? Odd vehicles, odd noises, odd lights.
There was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday. Maybe someone complained about that I hadn't seen before.
What type of truck?
It was kind of almost a steel gray.
Okay.
Don't ask me, mate.
Okay.
Year. But that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck, and it's gray.
Okay.
But this one was smaller.
Okay.
This one was smaller.
Alleged truck owned by NK. What do you know about that, Amber?
Okay. So remember when she owned that LLC, the Satya Consulting or whatever?
Yes.
Okay. So before she scrubbed that, people grabbed this screenshot. So when you look up a business on Google, it'll show like the picture of the front of the business and stuff.
Yeah.
Her address was associated with the business. So this address belongs to her family. And that was the car that was in the screenshot, like out front of the address that was tied to the company, the LLC company that she owned.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes. So, and then a lot of people say, well, Betty said that it didn't have that camper on the back, because the cop like asks her in the description and she says no to that question or something, but it's like you can remove that very easily.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. A lot of people take those on and off depending on what they're doing or using the truck for.
Exactly.
Okay. So here are these letters from Chris. I just grabbed a couple that these were supposed to be in that book. So this one says, I just grabbed because I saw it mentioning her, I thought. It says, I have backslidden. I'm like a sheep gone astray from the flock and have fallen into a pit. Christopher Watts, March 9th of 2020. It's called Rescue Story. It says, the snare of the enemy has entrapped me. The words of a harlot has brought me low. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul. Little did I know, all her guests were in the chamber of death. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. How did I not see it? How did I let this happen? The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and still I followed the perfume of a strange woman. The web of the enemy squeezes around my heart and is cocooning my soul to the point of suffocation. The enemy and his Jezebel mock and scourge me as they celebrate another capture. But oh, that man would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. You did not leave me captive or condemned. Let's see, you opened my eyes, because we have some more. Hold on. So that's all that's in that one about her. Let me see this. Well, and Dylan had said for a long time before they ever split up that they called her Jezebel. Do you remember when he first came out with that woman? They were friends long after that, and he said that they called her Jezebel. And this kind of confirms that for me, because you see Chris writing about Jezebel,
Mm-hmm. And Chris never expected this to go public, probably because it was written to Dylan.
Well, I think this was supposed to be in their book.
Oh.
Like these were writings for their book. Like, see, this one's called Sweet Child of Mine. This is it for their daily devotional. That one was Rescue Story. I have a couple more, and Amber, I can send them to you as well, like what I've got. But as soon as he acted like he was okay with the book, and as soon as they published it, there was this third-party representative that reached out to Amazon, reached out to Dylan, and it was a whole thing.
Because he put his picture, remember he put his picture on the back, and it was a picture that originally was taken with Shanann, and he blacked her, you know how you can highlight in your phone the photo and then crop it that way? They cropped her out of the photo.
Yes, I remember you telling me about that. Now
so it wasn't a picture, when you see people, an author with their most recent photo or portrait or whatever, they use an old picture from one of their MLM trips and crop Shanann out.
Right. There's so many other pictures you could use. And then let me just say, Anthony, first of all, I didn't say we believe Chris Watts or David Carter. This is in his handwriting, though. We
simply stated that Dylan is not the only inmate that has come out stating this. And in many cases, they're called, what are they called? Something snitches. Prison snitches. Jailhouse snitches. Yes. And they can be taken seriously by law enforcement. And law enforcement follows up with jailhouse snitches. So, try and discredit them all you want, but in other cases, you'll see that there's been situations where they've actually come out and stated something that was, relevant.
Well, and guess what? As a creator, your job is to bring the information to the audience. I haven't heard anyone so far in the time I've been on say, hey, I believe X, Y, and Z. It really doesn't matter what we believe. We'll put our opinions on there, but it's presenting the evidence to you. It's up to you whether or not you want to believe it or not, but this is what's going on.
Right. Exactly. And the fact that Tammy could have, they're not admissible into court, but wouldn't it have been interesting if he did follow through with that lie detector test just to see what those results would have been?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because OJ also took a lie detector test and failed it. So I'll just leave that out there.
And George Anthony passed.
Yep.
Right.
And then Solo Angel Mom says, just can't imagine why idiot Chris would confess over and over and leave his girlfriend out if she was involved. I just don't buy it. Well, see, I do, because if he's trying to protect her, but also his confessions, he told multiple confessions. And honestly, his confession to Dylan, according to Dylan, did involve her. And his confession at first was it was Shanann. Then we have the confession to law enforcement, that long one that was recorded that we got from Wisconsin. We have Cheryl and Cato's confessions that he killed them twice. So we got so many different ones, you know?
Yep. Which one do you believe? Statistically, the more earliest statements are likely to be more true, but in these ones we know for like I don't believe that Shanann harmed the children at all. So I can say that that confession was absolutely not true. And we see in the footage he's fed that confession from Tammy. So that really didn't come from Chris per se, in my opinion. It was just, you know, he was in there for hours on hours and was just like, you know what? Fine, yeah, Shanann did it. So it's just one thing that he stated for months until he signed the plea agreement was that he didn't harm his children. I'm just going to leave that out there. I'm not saying that NK did it. I've never really said like she killed them. You know, I've just stated I believe there's more culpability in what she was involved with.
Yeah,
that's
and
all I can say.
We don't know what necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Something ain't right here. There are so many things that just don't line up. And also, let me ask you, your boyfriend has little children and a wife that are missing, and you, instead of helping, oh, let me tell you anything and everything I can, like, how can I help? You start breaking your, like messing with your, excuse me, cell phone. So you're, you know, they can't retrieve certain things, deleting things, breaking your SIM card, literally trying to get in the way of a full investigation. Then he is on the phone with detectives and you're on three-way listening. Why? That makes no sense to me. He actually did take their lives. We know that he was involved, right? So at least involved in whatever happened that night, depending on what you believe. Why would he have her listening in if she didn't at least know more or something? That just makes no sense to me.
And why is she listening in, but she didn't do something like that to help law enforcement? Like, it wasn't like she was ever in any of her interview, like her first interview, and like called him and they all listened in on Chris.
Right. The only way it makes sense to me for her to be listening in quietly on a three-way with law enforcement is if she knew something that he was able to be like, she would be in the know. It doesn't make sense if she wasn't in the know of something for him to ever do that call on speaker and on three-way with her, because she wouldn't be in the know anyway. She would be like, what the hell's going on? You know, like, but if she knew something, it would be like, we got to be on the same page, listening in, like, where are they at? What are they asking? That's the only way specifically that behavior makes sense to me.
And like another thing that which doesn't look good for her is like either it was like you just stated, or maybe I say they because I think there's other people, maybe they wanted to hear exactly what Chris was saying, like not so much like what the police knew, but could they trust that Chris wouldn't name them or something?
Interesting. Yeah, monitoring.
Yeah.
And a couple comments. So Tony says she thought little things leaked out, basically. And I think that's probably true. We've seen that happen with Letitia, with lots of other cases, you know. And then Crazy Mama, I have to find your comment. Hold up, because she said a lot of things don't make sense. I can't find it, but it was basically a lot of things don't make sense. Why did she Google them so far ahead of time? Why in her Google records was she Googling both of them at different times? That makes no sense. You know, why okay, many people say the phone pinged over there because, well, phone pings aren't that accurate. And what if she was just driving by, which I could see that, like to see, oh, are they in bed together? Can I see them together? Did she make it home? Maybe that's why she could have driven by. But with all the other things, it looks a lot more sinister than just that, being kind of nosy and wondering what was going on with breaking the Sims cards. But the Google searches, that I will never get over. And the DA literally said that is not a mistake. That is not a typo. Because at one point it was said that was a typo, and he had to come out and correct it and say no.
Yeah, that's what's sketchy too, is it was actually Frederick's press officer who said that it was a typo, and then the district attorney came out. So it was just like, why did law enforcement try to lie though? Or was it just a mistake? Like, oh, well, they thought it was a typo. It's just so weird.
Yeah, that is weird. It doesn't add up. Okay, I remember this one. I don't know if it mentions her, but I remember it was kind of eerie. And this one he called Sweet Child of Mine. So it says, Dear Heavenly Father, the blessings of this life I have taken for granted. The miraculous I have deemed ordinary. The supernatural I have received as natural. The birth of new life into my life I perceived. What happened to it? Oh, man.
But I hadn't seen it before.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Hold on.
You're fine.
Okay, here, back to it. I perceived as an everyday part of life. Those blessings grew up as a green olive tree in my house with a sparkle in their eye and a smile that would shine in the darkest room. Their energy would last for days on end, sometimes their questions too. They even picked out a book about a train. Oh my gosh. They even picked out a book about a train just to hear me say choo-choo. Their kisses I thought would last forever. Hugs that would melt my heart. Never in a million years did I think we would be apart. Oh, sweet child of mine, those blessings are gone now, taken at the blink of an eye. And I think to myself, what happened, as I wonder about the cold night? It wasn't until you called me, oh Lord, that out of a dead slumber I arose. When you touched me, you quickered, something me, making through concrete grow a rose. I know love now, love that I never knew before, love that I wish I could have shown because you dwell at my core. My hope springs eternal because my hope is in you. I will see those blessings again because I have given my life to you. You are my eternal Father, a love that will stand the test of time. Oh, how I yearn for that day you say, welcome home, sweet child of mine. So he's like,
see, like, I actually, if it wasn't written from him, that was pleasant. But knowing that it's him, it's like,
right.
I just can't help but wonder if this religious stuff is like a front or genuine, because I just think Chris has so many faces that you just never know with him.
Well, and it sounded a bit Guns N' Roses-ish,
Yeah. Well,
right. Wait a minute. Haven't I heard this before?
Oh, sweet child of mine. I know there was more that mentioned her, but I would have to go back through it. But regardless, God's plan. Yeah, this is not God's plan, bruh. But regardless, he definitely, according to Dylan, was still talking about her and placing some sort of blame on her, and referring to her as this evil Jezebel.
See, and I wonder if part of the reason why he doesn't kind of implement her or tell the truth, I guess you could say, is I think that he thinks that he's like helping her or like saving her. Like he knows the truth, and he knows that there's things that he could say and do that would like get her sent away, but he isn't doing it and like hoping that like she still is like cares about him, if that makes sense, like holds a candle for him or whatever the saying is. Like, she's on the outside, like he stated in the prison interview. I hope she's doing okay, since she's on the outside. It's like he still has a special place for her, sick as it is. And in his mind, he's doing good, like almost like her knight in shining armor by not implementing her. And that's like good enough for him.
Yep, I 100% agree. I think specifically with Chris, I think there's a good chance. I think he was so infatuated, not just with NK, at first with the new lifestyle and the attention and the confidence he had for the first time, in my opinion, as an outside perspective. And he became so infatuated with her. I think he was completely willing to roll over and take it, even if he didn't do it all himself, for her.
Yep. I agree with both of you guys.
Like he's like fallen on the sword for her, and he thinks that that's his way of showing her, like, see, like, I love you, or you know what I mean? After all these years, like she knows like he's not telling the truth, because I
Yeah,
don't
like
think he's told the truth.
see, I still got your back now. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Like a head nod.
Okay, and listen, I have one more clip I want us to play, and then I will let you guys go or whatever. We could chat some more. I don't know. I don't want to keep you guys too long. I know we're going on at 8:30 to Melissa's. We could go until then, but Amber, she's just stepping back into this. I'm so glad that you're coming back. So, you know, I want to take it slow as well, but there's
I'm
something.
in no rush, so I can hang out for as long as you want.
Okay, awesome. Well, I pulled another little short that is just like, it's kind of infuriating to watch. But do you remember in the interview when they asked her to say her name? Like, do you know her name?
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So,
because before that, she kept saying his significant other, his wife, she, her, that lady.
Yep.
When referring to Shanann.
Yep. And the way she says it is weird. Now, this short, the person who made it, they point out, wait, where'd Melissa go? They point out that, do you know her name? Watch her hand. But I don't know why I watch her hand. I just her tone and stuff is.
No, because she does a hand motion like she's strangling someone.
Oh, okay.
Melissa said she'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you, Amber. Okay, here we go.
Let's go back to North Carolina.
Okay.
He went to North Carolina and he was trying to rehab his marriage with his wife.
He said.
Do you know her name at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay saying her name?
It's Shanann.
All right. And do you know the children's name?
Yes, it's Bella and Celeste.
Okay. She went by, they called her Cece.
She spoke it through her teeth. I'm going to play the full thing, but I have to pause right there. Well, this is the full thing, actually, as much as they have. I also have the interviews pulled up, but regardless, oh my God, I never noticed. See, you know this, like
really?
The back of your hand. If it came up, I don't
That's because we discovered, CDT and I discovered that. I don't mean to just toot my own horn, but I will say that we were the first ones to like zoom at her hands. And when this came out, Plunder, yes, she got it for us, and props to her. She fought hard to get this. Like, she pretty much threatened a lawsuit, I believe, because it was like released in the discovery files, but audio only. And then like there was something along the lines of like she was like fighting with the courts, like, no, we want the video, like it's supposed to be given to us, like this and that. And then it came out, Plunder got it, then we reviewed it, and we're just like, I mean, the whole interview itself, her body language is so, it makes you kind of like shiver in a way, because it's, if you could say somebody looked guilty, I would say that this entire interview, which is I believe over 3 hours, she looked guilty.
Like, she looks like she's speaking through her teeth to even mention them, and I cannot believe that. That is so cool. So yeah, you guys definitely go check out Amber's channel. She goes way back with this from the very beginning, which is, I used to watch, before I had a channel, I used to watch her in CDT to learn about this case.
And there's just so much to kind of like Letitia's, like you just go over it, and you're just like, whoa, I never noticed that before.
Yeah. There is so much to them, but with hers, at least we got a trial. My God, with this one, I feel like there's so much that they still have that will never, I wish it would be released, but probably will never. Yes, for shiggles. Here, I'll play it again for you guys. Let's see. I don't know how loud it's turned up all the way. Okay.
Let's go back to North Carolina.
Okay.
He went to North Carolina and he was trying to rehab his marriage with his wife.
He said.
Do you know her name at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay saying her name?
It's Shanann.
All right. And do you know the children's name?
Yes, it's Bella and Celeste.
Okay. She went by, they called her Cece. All right.
Wow, what a good catch, Amber. That's crazy.
And when we slowed it down, it was even scarier.
Wonder if I can slow down a short. But do you remember then there was that interview that was out that was just audio. And finally Frankie put out the video for it.
Mm-hmm.
And how weird that was to see, like, after we had heard it. I remember listening, like, for hours and hours, just doing housework or whatever, but being able to see it.
Yes. And actually, I have another kind of case update as well. You just reminded me.
Oh,
First
okay.
off, Frankie and Sandy, Shanann's mother, have their own YouTube channels. I highly recommend subscribing to them. Just it's a subtle way to show support to the family, as well as Sandy has stated that recently throughout her cooking, like she does instructional videos, like when she cooks, and then she just chats with the chat live. That she'll be writing a book soon too. So that's kind of a little new information, because obviously there's going to be her own perspective and insight, and with everything that took place, and what better person to kind of shed light of who Shanann was than the mother. And I know a lot of people have said, well, Shanann and her weren't even that close. She was closer with Frank. I'm sure Frank's going to have some sort of influence as well on the book. So, you know, say what you will about whatever, but close or not, the mother's going to know information that I think would be insightful and give a lot of people liked Lacey Peterson's mother's book too. So just putting that out there, it's just going to give a new look to everything, which we haven't gotten in a while, because they've stayed very, like, they don't talk about it much. Like, I watch a lot of her cooking stuff just because I love watching cooking stuff, but she doesn't really talk about them. And when she does, she just says, thank you guys all for praying for me and our family. We're still grieving. But yeah, recently they have stated that there will be a book coming out.
Tess, yeah, I was about to ask you if you will grab that, because I don't have the link. I don't know it. And then Anthony, I don't know. I don't believe David. Listen, I think let's just stop mentioning him. Please don't mention him in my chat. This isn't about him. He has nothing to do with the case. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know that he even put it out. I don't know that I didn't even know he had a channel. I know that other people also received messages with the direct link. Hey, I'm sending this to you because you're a creator or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's not the only one. I think that he was probably sent the same message. So
because when you get messages, sometimes it goes to a folder that you don't see right away.
Right. Exactly. And you don't know when somebody checks some people are on their phone all day. Some people aren't. Like,
he's just the only one that put a watermark on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So no more mentioning him in here. I don't care to talk about him. Okay. Wow. I would love to read that book though. You're right. But listen, Amber, remember at one point, they said on Dr. Phil that they thought there was more to it.
Yeah, it wasn't even just on Dr. Phil. Like, they were in the comment section of like AD when AD had his first channel, and they, thought that she was involved. And then everything got deleted because his channel had gotten deleted numerous times. So all those comments are gone. I'm sure people might have screenshotted, but I haven't seen those circulating. Like, but there was a point in time where they all believed that it was possible that NK was going to be arrested.
See, and then what changed and whatever, maybe it was just they have to move on, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they were threatened with the lawsuit privately or something, and they don't have any evidence to the contrary, so they stopped. I don't actually know, but I know at one point they did very openly say they believed she was involved. Hell, Dr. Phil, I'll never forget his little series, like The Devil Made Me Do It or whatever, and he was literally referring to NK as like being part of this, as like the devil almost. I don't remember exactly, but I know that I remembered like several episodes of that podcast, and he talked Dr. Phil got some of his information from them because they went on the show. So I don't know, but it would be great to read a book, from her and just hear more of the pleasant stuff. But I do feel we know Shanann more than a lot of other victims.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, no, go ahead.
I just feel like if you just because we know so much about Shanann doesn't mean she would have been somebody that we all would like love in real life. Like, if it's weird to explain. It's like we know so much about her and like we have this like empathy towards her family and everything. And then there's this other side of this case where people are just so critical of the victim for some reason in this case. And you can't help but kind of look at things differently when you're reading those nasty comments, but it all comes back to one thing. She's a victim. We might not have all been friends with her or mothered and been a spouse the way she was or whatever, but she's the victim. Who cares? Like, whatever disagreement you have with the victim. And it's so bizarre because it's really not like that in a lot of other cases. Like, there's nobody coming out against other people. But
Yeah.
this is just, it's crazy. It's nothing like any other cases on YouTube.
It's so sad the way that she gets criticized, honestly. I hate it. It's really sad to see. But also, I think that, like, knowing her so much, like, seeing them all the time, all the videos and pictures, like, it made you feel even closer to all the victims, the babies too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And none of them deserved this. It doesn't matter who was doing what, you know what I mean? Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. She didn't deserve to be killed. The kids obviously didn't either.
Yep, exactly. So let me ask you, Humanimal's comment is interesting. And hey, by the way, Humanimal, she says on rewind, but it does give NK a tick in her favor that she risked exposure to support her friend at the funeral. But do you think she knew that that was being live streamed?
So when she's walking towards the camera, somebody else pointed out that it looks like she says, "Oh, brother." Like she like lips it, like that we've read her lips. So I don't know if like maybe she just noticed like, "Oh, wow, they're recording this."
Right.
When you're getting ready for a funeral and like going to support your friend who's grieving, like you're not really thinking about those types of things, I feel like.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't even expect it to be there. And then other people were like, she must have known something or she wouldn't have gone. And it's like, she was probably stuck between a rock and a hard place. Like, either she knew it was going to be recorded and she was like, man, like, but I have to be there for Danielle. So I'm going. Or she was kind of thrown off guard and she's like, well, what can I do?
Yeah. Oh my
She
goodness.
just has like zero say in the matter because it's not her family, But it does kind of shed more light on her closeness with Danielle, because why was Danielle there that specific weekend, for one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then she tries to say Daniel. Like, other people remember that, right? Like, we all thought it was Daniel, and then it comes out to be Danielle.
Which
And
is
then,
so shady. And then
yeah, and she's friends with Jim. It's just all
friends with who? Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, you cut out on the last word, or I think it's probably that cut out because internet's being funky here because it's cloudy. But wow, I mean, I don't know, just the way she acted about like the gym thing, it makes you wonder, like, what are you hiding? Like, if you are truly just a mistress, why do you care? Why would you not want to give all the information, give your phone and a SIM card that's not broken, let your friends talk to them, family? Hello, you have the lives of these children at risk. These children and their mother. This is far bigger than, the bothering your friends by asking the police, going and asking them a few questions or whatever. I don't get it. I feel like Amber Fry did anything and everything, helped record. Like, didn't she even do the phone recordings with him? Like with the police stepped in, you know what I mean? So some women in this situation would do anything to help.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Why wouldn't you? If you're completely innocent,
Yeah. And then, for Shiggles, it was her friend's mom, Danielle's mom. And I'll show
and
you.
remember, she also stated that none of her friends knew about Chris. But Danielle came in that weekend and you hosted her and you went to the Lazy Dog, and we know that you guys had sex before and after dinner. So how did Danielle not know Chris?
Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know. Nothing adds up. Nothing makes sense. So before we go, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna get off here in a sec so I can have a second to do showers with the kids before Melissa's lab. We're finishing some Casey stuff in a little bit.
Cool. Can't wait.
I know, me too. It's Jose questioning, like it's his turn to talk to
Can I
Georgia.
just say too, since we're talking about NK and Casey real quick, when I first started looking at the Watts case, NK reminded me of Casey Anthony.
Wow, that's interesting. Why? Just her look or what?
The way just her manipulative type of speaking, it's hard to explain, but like they remind me of each other. Like I feel like they have like the same personality disorder or whatever. I don't know what they're diagnosed with, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're both.
Yeah, I could see that.
Same.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that narcissistic, or what's the other one?
I don't know, some antisocial something.
Yeah, something. That's interesting because we know Casey's very manipulative.
Mhm.
So I hope that, anytime you ever want to come on, like to try to keep, like to just get back into the zone. If I don't do lives for a week, it's hard to get back into the like rhythm of it. And I feel awkward like coming on after a week. So I can't wait for you to come back, and I hope you do as soon as possible. But you can come on here with me anytime, anything I'm talking about. If you have something to say or have a moment where you can and you want to, you're always welcome here. I love you coming over to talk.
Cool. Yeah, and I love, your chat and all that. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And yeah, so what are you thinking? Do you have any idea in mind, any goal where you want to come back to? What are you thinking?
Well, my husband has like 2 weeks off at the end of this month. So I'm gonna focus on getting that Watts documentary done. And this is gonna be like just a different angle of the case. And then really I just don't know like when I'll be live streaming, but I'm hoping to be back, especially in time for Koberger's trial.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Because that was something that I followed super close when it came out years ago. So it's
Yeah.
like I think I could be back on a live stream schedule. It's just difficult when because right now he's starting to teeth, so he's getting more clingy.
Yeah. Oh. How lucky are you though? Just absolutely blessed. And you know what? It's better than YouTube all day, every day. Anyway.
It is. It's different work, and I miss everybody. Like that's why I'm like trying to always be in like your streams and Melissa's streams, because I'm like, oh, I like just seeing you guys and talking these cases. Like it's like a different part of my life that I like to like tap into. So
yeah, and I miss you too, and listening to you. And honestly, with Stefan Stern's trials approaching too, like Lori Vallow, I mean, they just finished jury selection today. Did you see? I think they chose 3 women and 13 men, and she's representing herself.
Yeah, I've been trying to watch that on Jen Lou's channel too when I can. And I've seen they're doing a more jury selection for the next Karen Reed trial. And I'm like, holy cow, things are like happening so fast in these cases that I was just kind of like really down the rabbit holes in. But I enjoy kind of being the viewer too. Like when I'm watching you guys and just doing my stuff, like it has been nice to kind of not be a creator and just be like a subscriber and like moderator for you guys. Like it's hard to explain. It's like I can enjoy the community at a different perspective.
Yeah, which that's really cool too. And look, hope you see, we miss you, Amber. Enjoy those moments. How's the baby? You're so missed.
Good. He's almost 5 months. The thing is I would have come back sooner, but I don't know if you guys knew that, but I had a kidney stone like less than a month ago. So I had to have like emergency surgery. It like caused a blockage. Yeah. So that kind of put me back like from my editing and stuff that I had been doing on my documentary. And I've just been trying to like focus on like, getting back to like the urologist and figuring out like what caused the kidney stone, because they're common postpartum, but I've had them in the past. So that's just like another hurdle I'm kind of trying to jump through while also soaking up every minute I can, because he's going to be my last baby.
Yeah. Oh, I know that was probably even stressful being away. You know what I mean? Like, for the
They told me I could go home after, so I stayed one night there, and they said that I could go home after the surgery. And then like they tried to pull this whole like, no, you might have to stay another night. And I was like, no, I'm leaving. Like I have to get home to the little guy.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
I'm glad that we got to talk about her first. I'm going to say this is the first actual sighting. Like I truly could be like, yep, we saw her.
Yeah. It's pretty freaking unbelievable too, Amber. I still can't believe that she's like, we saw her.
And she looks the same. Like there's no high. She was not trying. She wasn't wearing glasses. She doesn't have her hair any different. It's just kind of like she's totally like relaxed with like, I'm on the outside, like Chris said.
Why would she not, like, you would expect even maybe a haircut, like some layers put in, part your hair on the side if you don't want to change too much, like exact same haircut, hairstyle, everything.
Yeah, she just has, apparently there's nothing in her that thinks that they're going to reopen the case. So many people have hope that they're going to reopen it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I wish they would, but I'm with you. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I bet she's got that damn brown bikini under that dress.
She only owns that and that black shirt that she's wearing.
That's funny. All right.
It did kind of look like the same black shirt she wore to her police interview. I was like, no way.
This one, hold on. The one we were just literally looking at, the 3/4 length. Was it 3/4 length at the funeral too? Hold on.
Oh my God, tell me.
Here. Oh my God, Amber. What?
Then she's definitely wearing the brown bikini underneath. It's all she owns.
God. That is freaking wild. Dude, 7 years later, still wearing the same clothes and everything.
Listen, I still have really old clothes too, but I don't know. It's just funny because those are the only images we have of her, and it happens to be like the same outfit.
Yeah, that is funny. Pointer, I think she outgrew that brown bikini too tight now. Pointer lover. You know, Amber, I have a pair of jeans from high school. Like I still have one pair of jeans I wore in high school, and I don't wear them much, but I tried them on not long ago, and I was like, I should wear these.
If they're flared, they're coming back.
Yeah, it's weird how style does that too, but it's fun as well. So anyway, they're not flared though; they're straight leg. But hey, I'll still wear them. They're like low rise.
Oh wow, I'm impressed.
You know, the low rise, that's not the thing right now. So I look
right.
From ages ago, but okay. Thank you for coming on, Amber, and you guys, thank you for being here and joining us. And I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks everyone. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and we'll see you soon. And meet you over in Melissa Jade's chat.
Yes, ma'am. All right, bye guys. Bye.
Bye.
20 minutes.